Welcome back, everybody. Man, I tell you one thing, man, it feels good to sit at this table again, and especially feels good to be at the table with the business that we spotlighting this week. But before I get into all that, let me introduce myself again. My name is Tony Octavius Jeffries. I'm the operator and owner of This Guy Electrostatic Disinfecting Spray.
I am Brian Carpenter, also known as OG Black, representing The Clean Queen Cleaning Company.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're back with another one, man. As you can see, we're not going to hold you up any longer. We got somebody real special at the table today. A good friend, somebody who's from our own community.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Byron Stallings, man. And we're going to give him a chance to introduce himself, his business, and, go through everything like we've been going through with our other segments. But, just let him take off and let him, just talk to you guys for a little bit about his business and about, the background of his business and, just dive in a little bit. So, man.
And
go ahead.
And towards the end, we're going to really dive in.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Really dive in. Right? Yeah.
Y'all know I like to eat.
Exactly. All right, well, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and pass it over to our man. Go ahead and talk to us about the business, man. Give us some background in the business and just where you started and, a little bit of your history, man, on the business.
All right, my name is Byron Stallings, and I'm the founder of Grayson's Grill. Grayson's Grill honestly started about 10 years ago with the thought and the process of what I wanted to do. I said I wanted to start a food truck and branch out and do something on my own, but back then I wasn't ready for it at the time. So I had to go out and get this knowledge and the skill set to be able to run a business and be able to do what I'm doing now. So what I did was I started working, honestly, at every kind of restaurant you can think of. I started as a dishwasher, honestly, at Cracker Barrel.
Talking about the climb and the grind.
Yeah, I was a dishwasher at Cracker Barrel out in Greensboro. Didn't know. Boom. Yeah. So that's honestly where the thought of this came from. I went there, got a job, started washing dishes, and really didn't like doing what I was doing. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life at all, honestly, at the time. And, at that time, it wasn't even living paycheck to paycheck. It was just living to get by. Like, you know what I mean? So what I did was I started working there, and it was a manager there named Lloyd. Really, really good guy. He had actually worked at Cracker Barrel, started there as a server, and he is actually was a manager there. And at the time, then, he was a lower level manager, and he was working to be a GM. And I kept telling him, I was like, man, I don't want to do this. I'm tired of washing dishes. I want to do more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And basically, he told me, he said, look, man, I'm going to show you, go over there, I'm going to get you on cooking, but you got to stick with it. Yeah. He was like, cooking make more money. At the time, I'd be completely honest, I was making $7.25 an hour.
Yeah.
He said, if you go over there and get the cooking, I'll pay you $9. I'm like, shoot, $9.
Yeah.
So, like, what I did was I went over and learned. And they started me on like prep and learned the small stuff like doing salads and stuff like that. And then they got me over on the hot side where I was doing, basically wasn't good enough to cook on the grill. So at Cracker Barrel, to be honest, how it's set up, you got a grill in the back where they cooking like the burgers and stuff and the pancakes. And then you got a front side where it's basically, that position is called the dipper.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's the easiest position to cook. I was the worst one there.
You said
that's the easiest position. I was the worst one.
So what the dippers do?
The dippers stand there,
okay,
and the ticket come in, and the person on the grill, they make the protein.
Okay.
And then they pass the protein over the dipper. All he got to do, this is crazy. You just take the mashed potatoes or whatever there, and he put it on the plate.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that's
it. You said you was the worst one?
Yeah, and I was the worst one at it. Like, so the key to being a good dipper at that point was you had to be neat.
Oh, okay.
The key to that story right there is I used to be sloppy and didn't care.
Yeah.
And Lloyd told me, he was like, if you can't take pride in doing something simple as being a dipper, how are you going to be a great chef or anything? So it all ties and go hand in hand together. Yeah. Long story short, I worked at Cracker Barrel for about 3 years. And towards the end, when I was about to leave, I was about to get ready to come back to Raleigh because I was like, I got to get out of Greensboro and do something different. The manager there named Brian, this white guy, looked at me and told me when I was about to leave, he was like, you ain't really, cut out to be one of those college guys or anything like that. I pay you $15 an hour and you would be a good one for me and work for me and take care of your family and work for the next 20 years. You would be a good one. That's the day I decided I was gonna do this business.
I heard that.
I said, ain't nobody ever gonna talk to me and tell me I'm gonna be a good one for you.
Good one, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'll pay you $15 an hour.
He told me he's gonna pay me 15. Yeah. That right there to this day, Brian, I hope you ever see this video. Thank you. You know, I appreciate that. You know what I mean? He was one of them guys, and then just a sidetrack on it, he was one of them, they get bonuses. They have bonus programs. So he'd get $10,000 bonus and come on the line. We only making $9 and brag about it. And say, y'all gonna give me another one, this one, y'all gonna work harder.
Wow.
The key to it, man, is people like that, when you're in a situation, don't get mad and flare up and fuss at somebody like that. Use it as a burning motivation to understand that you can get out of it.
That's right.
You can get out of it some way. You don't have to take it. It's more out there.
That's right.
And I use that. To this day, I still use that as my passion. You told me I wasn't ever going to do anything but be able to work there. You know, I left there. And
that's right. And look at you now.
it's crazy. It's crazy how things have turned. I worked there for a while, and then I ended up working at Cheesecake Factory. Cheesecake Factory was honestly a place where I could feel like I got serious about the career, and I was like, this is what I really want to do.
Mm-hmm. You mean as far as wanting to run your own business, or as far as just wanting to be?
I know I wanted to run my own business, but at that time it wasn't serious.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like, it was one of those situations where I had made up in my mind I want to do it, but you know what I mean? When you dibble and dabble, it's like, yeah, I want to do it, but mentally at that time I wasn't mature enough, and that's one of the main things. You got to be mature enough to make sure you can step out there, because once you step out there, man, it's a different ball game. Yeah. But when I got the Cheesecake, I learned there. That's when I learned systems, and I learned about, honestly, knife work and how to work with a knife and understanding, like, being busy and still working efficient. And that's what gave me, honestly, the skill set I have now. That place is busy, busiest place I ever worked at. 220,000 a week.
How many chefs be like? How many chefs is really back there? Like, is it like one lead chef and then a bunch of under chefs?
The one on Glenwood, when I worked there, on a Friday or Saturday, I counted one time. I remember this like yesterday. It was 20 of us back there cooking.
20.
It was 20. So you have probably like 15, 16 line cooks, and then you had the chefs walking on the kitchen manager. They'll be managing. You have 4 on at one time sometimes. Yeah, that play. You have to, on an operation like that, you gotta have it. You gotta have it. That
power to handle what's going on.
Yeah.
So where did you go from there? So you Cracker Barrel. Now you at Cheesecake Factory. You're learning your passion. You're like, okay, this is what I really want to do. Where did the transition happen?
The transition happened when I went to Margiano's, and my executive.
You did work at some places.
I ain't even included. I done worked at over 50 restaurants.
Okay, all right.
I done worked at over 50 restaurants. Margiano's put me in the mindset. My executive chef there told me that I wouldn't be able to be a chef.
At Margiano?
Yeah, Margiano.
Is this after Cheesecake?
Yeah, this is after Cheesecake. That's a whole nother long story on that one. But he told me, and I quit. I quit that same day. Didn't put the 2 weeks in. Didn't do anything. I was like, I'm not gonna be a chef. So I left there, and I applied, and ended up getting a job at Foster's. Okay. Sarah Foster of Background Information. She used to be the right-hand woman for Martha Stewart. She worked for Martha Stewart for about 20 years. Sarah Foster has over 10 cookbooks out. Restaurants in Durham right now.
Yeah. So basically you connected with big time.
Yeah. So I went to work for her, and that's where I really got being a chef. That was my very first chef position. I was nervous. Didn't know what I was doing, and honestly, when I got there, that's when I really got my love and honestly my understanding and my knowledge of cooking and my passion. That's where it came from there. That particular restaurant, it was an herb garden in the front. I got to go out, pick herbs, and come up with specials every day on the menu. So that's what, you know what I mean? You take pride in doing that because you put your name on something like that.
Yeah.
So after I worked there for a while, and then I left from there, and I ended up, after that I went to Southern Season. That's where I took off at. I took over. I started there as a sous chef. Within 2 months, I was promoted to chef de cuisine, and took over the whole kitchen and ran it. I went in there with a mission. I knew my executive chef at the time, he was gonna leave. So I went in, there was 2 other chefs that I worked with. They were amazing chefs. Honestly, could cook circles around me. But the difference was I went in and I was hungry. I knew what I wanted. So I went in, and when I realized he was about to leave, I told the owners, I was like, I want to take over this kitchen.
That's right.
And one of the good things was Southern Season had went into bankruptcy, and the new owners that brought it, I was their first hire.
Wow.
So that was one of the good things that I had a shoe up in. So when I went in, I worked there for about, after the 3 months, I took over and I had full reins of that kitchen, and that's where my career really took off and things started going where I really wanted to go.
Southern Season, was that the spot off of that's in Raleigh, right?
No, yeah, it was in Chapel Hill. They closed
Chapel
down,
Hill.
but it was in Chapel Hill. Back in the day, it was one of the.
I'm thinking about season 52.
Yes, season 52
Yeah,
of Crabs. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking
Yeah,
about.
I was too. I was thinking it too.
So Southern Season, the amazing thing about that place was it was a restaurant, which was called the Weatherman, and then it had a retail store. Then it had like a retail store, it had like a grocery department, all that. It had a cheese stand, a snack bar, it had desserts, it had everything, and it was huge. It was kind of, give you a perfect example, it was kind of like Wegmans. With a full restaurant though. Imagine Wegmans but with a full kitchen. With a full kitchen.
Yeah, like you was in there,
Yeah.
you was in there running the whole thing. Man, I heard that. What do you think during that time was like one of your biggest lessons that you even, because we're gonna move into you and what you doing in your business and stuff like that. I love the background and the information that you're giving to build your story about how you ended. Yeah, but what was like some key lessons in that moment that kind of taught you like things that you're using right now and what you got going on right now?
They're one of the biggest lessons I learned was being accountable and understanding that you got people depending on you. When you're in a position of leadership and you have a position of power, don't abuse it.
That's right.
And understand that people are depending on you. I had chefs and other people that depended on me. Had people jobs depended on me where I could have made decisions where they wouldn't have had a job, where I had to make the right decision where everything worked and numbers wise and everything. But one of the biggest lessons I learned there, honestly, is being accountable, leading by example, and doing things the right way.
Key thing, good gracious, key thing, leading by example, man. Like that's a missing piece to a lot of leadership out here today. Just holding yourself accountable and also thinking about others as you're making decisions. Man, we can have a whole segment just on that. But yeah, okay. So now transitioning from that part to going into making the decision to run your own business. I know a little bit about your testimony, but just share with us like that transition, how that happened.
So what made me transition to going into opening Grayson's Grill, it started out as Grayson's Wings, and I was doing wings, and I was working at PF Chang's at the time, and I was a senior student. Don't work there, I tell you. I ain't even. So at this time, I was a senior student.
The whole Glenwood.
The
whole Glenwood.
Yeah, if you ate on Glenwood, I done probably cooked for you at one point in time.
It's a fact. All right.
But so I was working there, and honestly, things were going pretty. I was making great money, and things were going pretty good, and my position was great. And I had started doing the wings and selling plates and doing stuff like that out the house, and that had honestly started taking off a little faster than what I thought it would. So both of those was going, and then at that time I was about to get married, and so all that was going, everything was going good, and I got approached by my GM at PF Chang's about going to Greensboro and taking over there. He said that they had a corporate chef that was going to be there, and that he was only going to be there for a little bit, and he was going to leave, and they said that'd be a good position because I had inquired about it a while ago. So I was like, all right, you know what, I'm going to
Greensboro.
I said, but I just moved into my house here in Garner and everything, but I was like, I'm going to do it. So me and my wife, we ended up getting married and went on our honeymoon. When we came back from our honeymoon, I ended up going to Greensboro. Probably worst, best decision I ever made. I hated it. Drove an hour and 30 minutes to work every day. Pretty much everything I was told wasn't true. And I was working 10 times harder. So I was doing that for about a few months. And it just dawned on me one day, because I was selling plates still. So I went to work one day, and it was it wasn't even a real bad day, but it was a bad day.
Yeah.
And I looked at that dining room and I made my mind, I said, I ain't coming back.
Yeah.
So I made my mind, I said, this is it. And I finished up my shift and did everything. And I talked, the area director, really good guy, still communicate. I called and explained to him what was going on and he told me to take some time. I told him I don't need it, I ain't coming back. I already made my mind up what I was gonna do. So what I did was, I ended up I didn't go back there. And that same week, I sold plates like I usually do. And then I realized, I was like, this ain't going as good, but I gotta take care of family. I'm married and I got a baby on the way at the time, which was, most people, you know, you got a pandemic going on, you just freshly married and you got a newborn on the way. It's kind of like, why are you doing this? But in my head, I told my wife, and my wife, she said, go for it. She was like, I believe in you. When she told me that, it lit a fire.
That's right. You gotta realize that, like that fire for real. Yeah.
So what I did was I had a little fryer at the time, and I had some money saved. I took my money, I went and brought me a big old pig cooker, one of the smokers. I had found it on Facebook Marketplace, and I went down the road to Rocky Mount, got one of my friends. I ain't had nothing to haul it with or nothing. I went and got one of my friends, he called him up, and he took me down there, and we went all the way to Rocky Mount. Dude had llamas and donkeys in his front yard. We pulled up.
Serious.
And I paid for it, and he even gave me he didn't even count the money when I gave it to him. He just said, man, what you trying to do? I told him what I was trying to do with it. He said, go make you some money.
That's right.
So I got the grill, and that was the best part. I was like, all right, I got the grill, and I'm all happy and stuff. And then I had to think about the back part, where I'm gonna cook at. So I talked to the guy. I go to the gas station, Grocery Boy Junior on Garner Road. I go there at least 5 times a day. So I talked to them guys, they know me well, they know my wife, all that. So I talked to him, I said, you mind I bring my grill up here one day? And he said, bring it up here. So I took it up there on a Saturday, and the rest is history, man. That was my very first time doing something where I just popped up vending and it took off. And it was probably, honestly, that was one of my highest revenue days, that very first one I did. I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't unhook the grill from the hitch. I don't even know how, at the time, now I could drive the mess out, but at the time I couldn't drive a trailer. So like, instead of backing up, I had to always go in circles and stuff like that. But I started there, and then he told me I couldn't come every weekend, but he said you can come every now and then, you know. So then I ended up saying, where I'm gonna go next? So I went over down to Singletary's barbershop, and I talked to Don Singletary, and he let me come over there, and he said, we started a little partnership, and I started going there, and took off. I built that location. Location honestly was really, really good, and it was a wing restaurant there. I'm not gonna say the name, you know. But it was over there, and long story short, I was feeding them for free. I let all their workers, anybody work there, they came up, they got to eat from me for free. The owner came one day and honestly tried to hustle me out my ribs, which is crazy, but
Tried to hustle you?
yeah, he tried to hustle
Your
me. I
ribs.
told him my price, and at the time my aunt used to take the money and went up there and told my aunt a whole different price and said I said it, and I'm looking like, nah, I ain't say that. When he came, I knew something was up though, because I had a line of probably like 20 people at that time. The next time I came out there, he came out there and told me, it was like, yo, you can't cook it no more. Didn't know that this guy here just bought the whole shopping center.
Okay.
So he had the power. Even if I had with my permits, everything I got.
If you, I mean, it don't make sense to like just pick you up and see who's booming and it's bringing people to the shopping center. You know what's crazy? You made me think about something. When did you ever see the GM of McDonald's walk across the street to Burger King because their line is longer and say, "Hey man, what's going on, man?"
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
it's
like,
it's the same
you
thing.
never see that.
It's
You
the
know what I'm
same
saying?
thing.
But
At all. Like,
you see somebody out here, but you can clearly see the lines wrapped around the corner. You probably want to get in line.
And bringing business to the shopping center.
That's the awesome thing about it. I do wings. That's first and foremost. That's my thing is wings. But with me with the grill, you know what I mean. I kind of lean towards doing a lot more heavy on barbecue. So I didn't do any of my wings out there. If people wanted wings, I sent them to that place.
Wow. Right.
But you know what I mean? Blessings come. That was a blessing.
Yeah.
For sure. I remember you.
It was a blessing. I was on the phone with you.
I was getting ready to say, I remember being on the phone with you that day when all that was going on, and all I kept hearing, you know, to tell you was, man, this is a blessing, man. This ain't gonna stop you. It's gonna take you to another door that's gonna open up many other doors for you, and that's what I just kept feeling in that moment. Because you know how it go when we start moving and we start doing things, and God start moving in situations, and we start, you know, taking those steps to make that climb for ourselves. It's inevitable that the devil is gonna come right in, that situations are gonna come right in, that things are gonna come that are gonna try to stop you and try to test you to see what you're gonna do, to see which way you're gonna go. You're gonna rise to the occasion and move forward, or you're gonna, you know, fold under that pressure. And man, look at what you're doing, man. You got right out of that situation, and you know what I mean, move right on to the next man, and been booming ever since.
It's a blessing because they only could run on Friday and Saturdays. That was only designated as like a run. Where I'm at now, I can run there 7 days a week.
So where you at now?
I'm on Pool Road now, the Food Line Shopping Center.
Yes,
Right,
I think
yeah.
you ran up by there.
Yeah, I'm in that little bitty lot right there between where the McDonald's is right there. I'm right in that little lot.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? I look at that lot like fish, and I be seeing them over in that McDonald's line, and I be like, I lift that grill up just like that. I blow that smoke right to them.
See, this why your man got upset right there.
I am a sucker for convenience, right?
Yeah.
But I'm also trying to eat healthy and better.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to the grill every time.
Every time, man.
The restaurant.
The restaurant,
grill,
yeah.
the cook.
Yeah.
I'm going every time.
Yeah,
Point
every
me to
time.
where the smoke at.
That's right. That's right.
The good ribs and the
All that's good. Exactly. I'd rather go for that any day versus going to, you know, the man. So look, we can go for hours around in circles talking about this, because I know we can take off of this stuff. But I want to get some for this segment. And what we always bring back to the table is some like practical and just you know, straight in your face knowledge about the things that it takes to move entrepreneurs and people who even are thinking about business to the next level, right? And you just said a whole bunch of key things that I caught throughout your journey of talking about where you came from to the point that you are now, right? And one of those things is you had some confidence in yourself, man. Like, to be able to tell those people straight up when they told you what you said, just be able to, you know, tell those people straight up, like, nah, you said I'm not gonna be able to do this. Oh no, I'm gonna do this. Oh, you said I can't do this. I'm gonna do this, and you followed through every time until you got to the point, and you got a whole, you know, a long journey to continue to go through of doing that. But I want you to, if you don't mind, for us, if you can pick out some lessons like that, some key things or practical things that you had to do to say, okay, now I want to start my business. I need to take this step, like those practical steps to get you really off the ground and running. I know one of them was getting the grill. You know what I mean? That's a practical step, getting that grill. But what are some of those?
That's not the first step.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
take us through it.
You are who you hang around.
Ooh.
That's the first step.
Okay.
If you got friends sitting around and they're not talking about doing anything, and all they want to do is get you to go to the club and party and spend your money, you ain't in the right circle. The grill and all that, we could talk about getting an LLC and all that, man. Nah, that's honestly in my head. The very first thing, man, is look at your circle. That's the
he hit us with something with that route. I wouldn't expect him to go that route.
Yeah, like it's no, because that's been the key to me.
Yeah.
Is my circle. My circle is the key to it's not me. If anybody can sit here and be like, oh, no, it's not that. It's the people that I hang around, the people that believe in me, the people that push me, like my partner, Jason. I could go on for years and years on how Jason has been there and done things to help me and get me to where I'm at right now. TJ, Travis Jones.
Jones.
You know what I mean? I talked to TJ for the whole time I was driving to Greensboro. Me and TJ both talked about that's a person you need to get on here.
Yeah, for sure. That's family too.
You heard him on the road.
Come on,
I'm shouting them out. That's somebody that really,
back on the road.
I know, like I seen that grind, like from the bottom to where he's at now, and that's somebody. But like,
next up, come on.
The key to it is, in my immediate circle, pretty much none of my friends they all own their own business. All of them. None of them really have. If they do have a job, they own a business. If they don't have a business and they have a job too. But like that's when I say that's your circle, and it's one of them. Like when I look around, TJ owned his own business. My homeboy Rob, he owned his own business. Look at you.
Yeah.
And so I look at it like, and it's the same. It's the principle like when you're raising your kids. If you teach a kid from the beginning that they kings and they can do anything, they're gonna believe they can do anything.
Yes, sir.
When I look around in my circle, when people be like, "Well, black men, you can't do that," and in my eyes, I don't believe that.
Right.
Like I don't look at I can't because I look at all my friends and everybody that's around me and surrounded by me. They all run their own business and they're very successful at what they're doing. So I look at it like if they can do it, I can too. So that's the key to it. And I feel like if you could get around people with that mindset, that's gonna get you to where you go. You could go out here and do the paperwork and say this, that, and the third, but if you're hanging around the right people, because knowledge is what you're gonna need when you're going to do anything with a business. Because knowledge, if you don't have the knowledge, you're gonna spend way more money and you're gonna go through a lot more. There's a lot of things that I skipped around because I had a lot of mentors in the game that helped me out and taught me. One of the people I work for, Greg Lewis, though, was one of his chefs. To this day, I still call him and get information from. But your circle, honestly, keep your circle tight, and who you hang around, honestly, is really important. And build relationships. Build relationships because I'm telling you, you never know. Building relationships, honestly, it gets you pretty much anything you need in life, as long as you keep a good face and whatever you do, give a good service and a good product.
Man, you went deep on us right there. We needed that though, because those are some, man, that's so true. That's so true. You gotta surround yourself with people.
Solid, like it's like everything else to take care of itself.
Yeah, it will.
You know what I'm saying? That's so solid. Like,
man. Well, let me ask you this, man. What about, so, we're taking those practical lessons and putting into your business and pushing yourself forward. Where are you today? So, we went through that journey, talked about where you're at as far as your business, but where are you at today business-wise? What are you looking to do? Like, what are some things for the business that we can look forward to?
So where I'm at right now is, I have everything set up where basically I'm a mobile food vendor.
Okay.
And I'm basically doing tent vending and have a permit through Wake County and get to run through there. One of the main things where I'm trying to get it going and what I want to do is, I was debating between a takeout spot and a food truck, and I'm still kind of going back and forth between it. But the main thing is I want to do a food truck. That's what the plan is. I actually had one and had but I need to go with the concept that I'm going with. I need something bigger.
Gotcha.
And to expand. So that's what I'm working towards and working on right now, and trying to get everything in order for that. The overall plan is, I want to open a restaurant.
Okay.
That's the overall plan. That's gonna probably be some years down the road. The kind of what I want to do is, but the overall plan is I want to open up something upscale, something where, you know what I mean, that we can go, you and your wife can go.
Put some clothes on.
You know what I mean? You can put something nice
on.
on. You can get some good music going,
sir.
and you can get a good meal.
You're missing that a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of places. Everybody talk about soul food and stuff like that. Raleigh needs a good soul food restaurant.
Soul food spot, and not just a soul food, but exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
The whole atmosphere, and that whole vibe.
Yeah, it's a vibe. You know what I mean? And that's the overall plan of I'm trying to get to and working towards.
Yeah.
One of my biggest things right now is I'm really just focusing on the barbecue and doing ribs real heavy. Wings are my specialty. I am gonna have a wing restaurant I put on Garner Road eventually.
Yeah, man.
That's one of the plans. That's another plan that I'm working on.
Coming.
Oh yeah, that's one of my. I said I'm gonna put one there. I'm gonna put a wing restaurant on Garner Road.
That's right.
I'm gonna tell you, me and a partner of mine was just having this conversation last night, and I was saying that it's just me. I was thinking about like cookout, right? Or like a char grill, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's like a hut, but it's drive-through, it's takeout, right?
Yeah.
Is a truck, like a food truck, not like, is that not the same? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it not capable of doing the same? Like the lines that a cookout attracts. Like if you get a popping food truck, it's the same thing.
It's the same concept.
Is it not the same? Is it different, or is it? Am I tricky?
That's a good question.
I mean,
nah.
we got
I was
man
telling
him
you, like, bro,
because you know one of the
the
questions
food
that
truck
did,
is a restaurant.
and
Like,
one of the
else?
questions that did pop in my head is what is the difference between that food truck and that, and you know, that just
Space,
type of thing?
space, but I worked the cookout.
Man.
Worked the cookout. I was a manager at cookout. That's a whole story for another day.
What
noticed
happened
it
to that work? Let's talk about that.
I worked at cookout.
The next place we go eat, we call them.
So
Yeah.
the concept that you're saying and how cookout and how they establish everything, you can do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't, because the food cookout is small.
Yeah.
The inside of it is small, the freezer space, the cook area, all that small. You can do the same thing. All you gotta do is set it up. I got an idea on how to do it and what I would do. I'm not gonna give too much out.
That's right. I don't want to get too much.
I'm not gonna get too much out, but basically how you would have it is you just have people come up and you have somebody take a ticket. You know what I mean? It's a system that you can get and you can shoot it. It's a system out that you can get where it's one person. You don't even need a person out there where they could come up and then basically it's a touch screen and put the order in the shoots to the truck.
Come on.
So you could do the same thing that Cookout do and all that with a food truck.
With a food truck.
You could do that. You know what I mean? It's up to you.
There y'all go.
Yeah, right there.
Hey.
Man, before we go any further, you kind of touched on, you know, as we've been talking about the food items and stuff that you do. Can you give us a full rundown right now of like your what you're doing, your specials, what's on the truck, like what are you serving right now?
All right, so what I run right now, my menu changes daily. That's one of the biggest things that I like to do. I don't like to have the same thing every day. But what I try to keep for the most part, because a lot of people ask for, I do keep ribs pretty much every day. They fall off the bone ribs. They cooking right. I got some cooking right now for tomorrow. I usually cook mine for 24 hours. I smoke chicken. I smoke that for at least 12 hours. Keep that on there, and I usually do those barbecue, buffalo, lemon pepper. I do have honey Hennessy, honey sriracha, and a few other flavors that I haven't put out yet. I do fried fish plates, fried to perfection. I do them to order when you come up.
Stop the press,
I also have grilled corn. I keep that all the time. That's one of the people's favorites. The new thing that I added on that everybody, man, I can't keep it. I can't keep enough of it. Is I do smoked mac and cheese. So I actually make the mac and cheese on the smoker. You know, I do everything. Only thing that I do is I boil the noodles separate, but the sauce, everything is made on the grill. So it's actually smoked all the way through. It's made with about 5 different cheeses. It's some gooey good stuff.
If by this point you're not looking this young man up and trying to figure out when he's gonna be open, like,
It's Grayson's Grill.
Okay,
On Pool Road.
Come on, man.
Smoked macaroni and cheese.
Smoked mac and cheese. I have it every day.
Yeah,
You got to get there early for it. That sells out fast.
Yeah.
I have turkey legs all the time. The ones that they have at the fair, mine fall off the bone. Promise you.
I'm gonna walk off the screen.
And then I add specials. I do shrimp skewers, lobster tails, crab legs. I do it all. Pretty much, if you just come out there one day and see it's gonna be something on that menu for everybody.
Man, something on the menu for everybody. No, you had a question. I think you.
Man, listen. Well, okay. So how you on pool roll every day?
Every day.
Every day. How long? What's the time?
Times you right now pretty much finally got everything geared up on the set schedule 11 to 7.
11 to 7.
11 to 7.
You catching that? You catching the right there, smack there, ready for the lunch crew.
Yeah.
The late folks that get off at 3 o'clock.
Catching all of them.
And for the folks like me sometimes that don't feel like cooking, is trying to grab you in the last minute.
That's right.
Oh yeah, I'm there for you. If you don't want to cook, come on, I got you.
Yes, sir.
Man, we do have the address, and we'll make sure that we put it on the video so that everyone can know how to reach them. Just for purposes of the audience, we're gonna put the message on the screen or the information on the screen, but what is the best way? Because I know sometimes you do private, or are you still doing private stuff right now, or is it strictly just the?
I'm doing private stuff too. I don't turn anything down.
I heard that. It's the hustle right now. You heard it. Let's go
I'm
get it.
hungry. I'm hungry.
Let's
So
go get it. Let the people know.
I do. So right now I'm doing caterings.
Okay.
I do private dinners. I do meal prep also. I do it all. You
Now
know.
that's hard. Meal prep, that's hard. That's not the first time I heard that. So I ain't really big on meal prep. Just the fact that, I mean, not just because I don't mess with it. I just ain't never. I don't got the patience to
sit there and do it. Yeah.
But the fact that you can get it already prepped, my man prepped the meals for you. Meal prep.
Grayson's girl, we do it all. But if you caterings, weddings, family reunions, we do it all.
How would the audience get in contact? Tell us your Facebook. Tell us your
Facebook is Byrons Stallings. My Instagram is Stallings Byron. It's just backwards. Both of them are linked. That's the best way to get in contact with me.
Okay. All right, man. And I if you don't mind me asking, and we can even cut this whole part out at the end of it if you don't want to go there, but to ask you my last question, would you mind telling the audience how you got your name? Like, what was the name of your business? If you know.
Ooh, that one hit me just now.
Yeah.
The name of the business came from my son. About 2 years ago, I had my son named Grayson, and he was born premature. I'm kind of getting a little sad thinking about it right now because he's been on my mind heavy lately.
Yeah.
But he was born premature. I had a hernia. He lived for about a month and passed away. And at the time when he was born, it was at that time when I was really wanted to get the business going and everything like that, but I was more focused on trying to be a father and getting everything in order. And he passed away, and I said I was gonna make sure I started this business and named it after him, and that way I honor his legacy.
Man, and you doing it, and you doing it, man. I mean, just to see my brother, like I said, when we reconnected, you know what I mean? Because like we go way back, right?
Yeah.
And it's those real ones that even though life takes you in different directions and you know you do different things, it's those ones that you get back connected with that it's like no time was ever lost. And that's exactly how I felt. And to see, you know, to come across your stuff on Facebook, man, and see what you were doing, and then coming out and seeing you and connecting with you, and just seeing this grind that you're on, this hunger that you have. And the consistency, and just it's a testimony in itself, man. And I gotta let you know, man, that you're over doing your job with that, man, and making sure that the legacy lives on. And man, I'm just so proud of you, man, and happy for you, man. And I want everybody that's watching this right now to make sure that you don't just look at this and just say, "Oh, that's a nice story. That's a great business." No, go support this young brother. We always screaming and hollering out about support, and you know, and going and like support these businesses and support this young man and go out and see him, because it's not you're not just going out to support him just because you getting something out the deal. You heard him, and I'm telling you firsthand, personally, somebody who has been out to visit him and see him on more than one occasion, that me and my family left satisfied all the way,
every day, B.
You know what I mean? Like, come on,
you know,
come on. And so go support this young brother, and everything he's doing. We're gonna make sure we keep up with you and everything that you got going on, man. We want you to come back and sit at the table when you got that restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget about the small people. Come and sit with us when you got the restaurant, man. And we just happy. I want to make sure, you know, anybody have any close, like, you got any closing remarks? You got anything you want to close us out with?
Just one last thing.
All right, so now about to get into some hands-on. This food, you know. So my man Byron prepared a couple things. Just want to show a couple items of what he's working with. Some things that's coming up, so y'all can get an idea.
So these right here, I'm gonna drop these this week. This is my chicken and waffle wing. Nobody around is doing it like this.
Chicken and waffle wing?
It's a whole wing inside of a waffle. So anybody doing them after this video, you know they got it from me.
That's right, yeah.
But this is something that I worked on. This right here was honestly the idea that got me started on wanting to run my business. When I was saying I wanted to do wings, I said I had to do something different. And of course, everybody loves chicken and waffles, and this is something that I came up with. Took me a long time to figure out research on how to do it, but got it going. So it's a whole. The good thing about it is when you eat it, it's a whole wing right there. So it's a one bite. You ain't got to eat your chicken. You ain't got to eat your waffle. You got your whole. So look, that's a whole wing inside. inside of a chick. Look at that. Look at that.
Man, I tell you what, bro, black.
I'll be dropping these this week on the out there. It comes with a sriracha maple sauce drizzled on top. You can't go wrong with it.
And this is the chicken and
Chicken and waffle.
I mean, that's the
with
true
the
definition.
chicken and the waffle.
That's the true definition, ain't it? Chicken in the waffle.
Chicken
You said
in the
you're gonna be
waffle.
dropping these when?
I'm gonna drop them actually this week.
This week?
This Saturday.
So now you have even more of an incentive to
Yo,
go
that's
and
like
pull up
that's
on that scene.
I ain't even gonna say what that is because you know that's.
And we done wrapped up the segment. We done talked about all this stuff. But I mean, come on, people, like this right here. I was talking to my daughter this weekend just about separating yourself from others that are out there, right? So when you're doing something, she was talking to her about entrepreneurship and business and ways that she could create things to do. And one of the main things that we were speaking to her about is how you make sure that you do certain things to separate yourself from others that are out there, doing what it is that they're doing, so that you stand out. You know what I mean? And if that's not a prime example of making sure you do what you got to do to stand all the way out, because people always talk about chicken and waffle, but to do it in this way and to put it in there like that, man, that's genius, man.
It's all in one.
That's
all in
one. You don't got to do it separate no more, right? You don't got to.
You can ride down the road and eat it if
and
you
eat
need
your
to.
chicken and
It's
waffle.
bugging me out how you came up with this concoction, but that is hard.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
You said it's dropping Saturday.
Dropping Saturday.
Saturday, Pool Road, right by the McDonald's.
Food Line Shopping
Shopping Center.
Food Line Shopping Center is on Pool Road, I believe.
It's Food Line over there.
I put in the
Taco
address in
Bell,
the-
KFC.
Look, I'm gonna make it easy for you. Just get on Pool Road and follow the smoke.
Enough said. He just. Hey, thank you, man. Thank you for coming out and joining us.
I
man.
appreciate y'all.
And I appreciate you for coming, man.
Byron Stallings, ladies.
Byron Stallings,
Chef Byron Stallings.
Chef Byron Stallings, Grayson's Grill. Go check him out.
King,
everybody.
love.
Thank you.